everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cabin Life. Today I will be continuing with buying land and finding your dream property, so stay tuned for more tips on searching for that special piece of land. Hello and welcome to Buying Land and Finding Your Dream Property. I'm Maureen, and today we'll be covering Part 2, beginning your search for your dream property. Now previously in Part 1 we covered defining your dream property. So everyone that followed through Part 1, you should now be ready with your completed list of must-haves and wants. You have your area of search marked on a map ready to go. You've determined your budget and you have an idea of when you want to purchase a land. And also you have a good description of the property that you're looking for. The size of the property, if there's any buildings on it, or if you're looking for vacant land, and what type of buildings you're going to have you're looking for on the property. And also access, do you want year-round or seasonal? What type of access are you looking for? And also utilities, we touched on utilities to service the property. And also looking at whether you're buying for an investment or you're buying as an heirloom property to pass on to future generations. Now, if you're new to the series, and this is the first video you've watched, I would recommend that you go to this link here. You click on this link and go back to the playlist, which has all the videos that we've posted so far to date. Particularly Part 1, go through the exercise to define your dream property, and then return and start Part 2 over again. And that will really help you in going through Part 2 and starting your search for your dream property. Now, for those of you who have joined us all along, I thank you. Now, if you finished Part 1 video and you're ready to go and you have all this information together, let's get going. Now, if you've gone through the Part 1 video, but you don't have everything prepared, all your information for starting your search for your property, I would suggest you click on the link as well, go back, review Part 1, get all of your information together, and then join us back for Part 2, and let's get going. Now, as you start your search for your dream property, it's important that you have your list of must-haves and your wants, and also your map of area of search with you, because those are two important resource tools that will keep you focused in looking at your dream property. So as you're looking at real estate listings, compare the information on the listings to your list of must-haves and your wants to ensure that the property will satisfy your wants and will satisfy your must-haves, and also that's within the area of search that you've already outlined on your map. And this will ensure that when you start driving the roads and you're looking at properties, that you're not wasting your time, that you're going to properties that you know that they address your must-haves and they have all or some of your wants. Again, your wants can be negotiable depending on the property, and also that you're heading to an area where you want the property to be. This will save you a lot of time and a lot of gas, and just make your search for your dream property much more enjoyable and much more satisfying, because you're going to properties that have already been predetermined to satisfy your list of must-haves and most of, if not all, your wants. And it's also in an area that you want to be in. I'll be covering a lot of aspects of looking at real estate listings, how to research your property, what to look for when you're on the property, how you can get more details. I'll be taking a look at some real estate listings and going over some information and how you can get as much information as possible of a real estate listing about a property, including some of the phrases that are used in the real estate listings and their definitions. And also some tools online. The internet is a great resource tool itself for researching properties. There's so many maps, there's aerial photographs, a lot of information that you can utilize to research the property before you decide to put an offer in. And also acreage and dimension calculations. We'll go over those as well, so that when you're looking at properties and you're trying to get an idea of what the size of the property is and what it looks like, you can do some calculations yourself to determine out the size of the property and the shape of the property. And I'll also discuss some of the steps that Glenn and I took when we were looking for properties. So let's get going with Part 2. Now, a lot of people want to know how you can scoop up the deals, how you know when you're getting a good deal when you're buying property, when you're looking at real estate. No, a lot of times it's just homework. You've got to do your homework. The best way you can ensure that you're going to get a good deal and you're going to know that you're getting a good piece of property that suits your needs is to start your search early. As soon as you can, start looking at properties. Now, I've talked to a lot of people in the past and they said, I'm not ready because we have other commitments, etc. Well, you know what? This is the time to start looking. Make it like a little bit of a hobby. Once a day or every couple of days, go online and start looking at the real estate and become familiar with the real estate in the area that you want to look at. Because by doing that, by the time that you're ready to buy, you'll have a good understanding of the real estate trends and what's selling and what kind of price you're looking at in the area that you're looking at buying in. And by doing this, when a special price property comes up and you know it's a good deal, you can jump on it right away. You can get all the information, do your research, and get your offer in before someone else does, because you have all the background information and the understanding of the market values in the area. So the earlier you start, the better, because you'll have more information under your belt. Now, sometimes what Glenn and I did is, even when we weren't looking for property, when we were driving the roads doing our field recording, we would just take a look at, see what's going on. If we saw a for sale sign along the road in an area that we would be interested in living in, we would just make note of it and go back home and take a look online and see how much they want for the property, how big the acreage is, what was included. And by doing this, what happened was we ended up eliminating some of the areas that we thought we would love to live in, which were great areas, but they weren't suitable for what we wanted to do. Before we were ready to buy, we had already defined and honed down our area of search. So that just really saved us a lot of time and gas, because we just totally focused on that one area and we just kept hunting for the property until we found it. If you're looking at something where you're looking at buying a property and there may be something in the future where you want to buy it now and then sell it to make some money so you can get a larger property or a different type of property, or just make an investment, time is what you need. You really have to take the time and look and research so you understand the market. You can't just go delving in and jumping in and buying because it looks like a good deal. You really need to do your research and your due diligence if you're looking at buying a property as an investment. Now, time does that, because over time you will see the ebb and flow of the market, which areas are high in value, which areas are low. And by these, as you're looking at the trends, one of the trends that happened recently over the last 20 years in our area was the four-laning of the highways. Both Highway 11 and Highway 69 went from two-lane highways to four-lane highways. And what that did was it made it possible for people in the southern area of Ontario who wanted to buy cottages, it made it possible for them to go a further distance to look for properties, because the four-laning made their commute shorter. So they were able to travel further. And also local people who lived in cities but would have liked to live in the rural areas now had the opportunity to move out in the rural areas as their commute back and forth to work and shopping became shorter because of the four-laning. Now, anyone who purchased land ahead of the four-laning gained in their investment. There was one community that had a beautiful little subdivision, and the lots sold for around $8,000, $10,000. And there was one lot left, and he had $8,000 on it. Now, he sat on that lot, and it did not sell for a long time. The four-laning went through. He sold that lot for $35,000. Not being able to sell it for a long time became a benefit to that man, because look at the value change. Now, that was quite a significant value change, but someone wanted it, and that someone was willing to pay that type of money. So if you are looking at something for investment, those are the types of things you'll need to look for, is where there's development and like highways, highway expansion, say new commercial endeavors or industrial endeavors going into communities. And you also look at the downswing of that occurs. Like say if an industry like a mining town, if the mine shuts down, that often makes opportunities for people to get properties at a lower value, because people need to sell because they have to relocate. So those are all the kinds of things that you can take a look at and you need to be mindful of while you're researching for property when you want to make money when you resell. Now, as far as people, if you're looking for a property that you can leave as an heirloom property or an inheritance to generations in the future, then that's a little bit different. You're going to be looking at for properties that will satisfy the needs and the wants of the people you're leaving the property to. Let's get going with looking for the properties. Now, what we found best at the beginning was to use MLS listings for searching for properties. And the reason why we liked MLS was that it's a conglomerate of all the listings of the real estate agents in the area. And that saves you time going to all the different real estate agents' sites to see what they have. Now, different real estate agents and different real estate brokers and companies, they do have their own sites. So if you have a particular real estate agent that you only want to work with and you're looking at their site, you can go to theirs as well. But to take best advantage of getting all the information of the market is to go to MLS listings. Now, this doesn't necessarily replace going to the real estate offices in the locale of where you're looking for property. It's a good idea to stop in those offices and meet the real estate agents and find a real estate agent that you feel comfortable working with. But when you're working from home and you're looking at properties and you're doing your research, I really like this MLSrealtor.ca. Now, there's a sister site in the States and in Australia as well. And I'm not sure what's in Europe. We'll have to take a look. I'll leave the links down below in the description. And anyways, these are really easy sites to maneuver. Now, I would suggest that when you start, you have a broad search. Don't narrow your search down too much. Keep it very broad so that it captures absolutely everything that's possibly on there that you can look at. With this exercise, what I'm looking at is properties that would be good for hunt camps, for off-grid, for cottages. This is more for like a getaway property. Looking at different acreages and different locations. We're looking for rural properties, okay? So I'm going to be looking in Loring and Cochrane, and the reason for those two areas is both areas have a lot of unorganized township properties in them. They're both beautiful areas to have hunt camps and getaway retreats in. So let's start off by, we're going to put in the name of where we're looking. So we're looking at Loring, Ontario. Oops, spell it right. And also too, it has some of these other things that you can fill out to refine your search. Now, I suggest you don't refine your search. Have your search as wide as possible, like I had just mentioned. Now, it defaults to residential. So what we always do is change this down to no preference. And by changing this to no preference, it will give you the results of everything, whether it's a house, a cottage, a hunt camp, a vacant land, whatever. Anything that's in the area, it will show up. So then you click go. When the page opens up, basically down the left, you have the listings that show up in this screen site. Now, this map here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. 3 of the dots have no numbers. That means that there's just one listing for each of these dots. This dot here has 2, so there's 2 listings. If you go mouse over that, the 2 listings pop up so you can take a quick look to see what they're about. And if you click on one with no number, you just get one property in the pop-up. Now, these are also listed down here on the left side, so you can scroll down here and take a quick look at all of them and just do a quick skim up and down. When you mouse over here on the left, the ball on the right bounces. See that? You can see the little ball bouncing. So if this interests you, then you can click on this little ball, or you can click on this picture to look at the listing. Now, if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, you can scroll out so you can get more of a view of the map, and you can grab hold of it with your mouse and move it around. As you get familiar with the area and you know where you're looking, you can move the map to match where you're trying to head to. So let's just take a quick look and see what's there. There's not a whole lot outside of the villages or along the highway, and we're trying to find something that's a little bit away from the highway anyway. So let's take a look at this one up here all by itself. Wolf River, Port Loring, Ontario. It's 78.9. It's 3 acres. It looks like it's on water. So let's click on this one. Just click on the picture and the listing will come up. Okay, at the top of the listing, it'll show you pictures, maps, any visual information that they have to include with the listing. And if you double click on it, okay, so it's on a river. It looks like it's a narrow river. Nice and calm that day. Now this first map, it shows, here's this area, it's yellowed. So I assume this is the area it's talking about. But then when you turn to the next map, this area, which is the same area we just looked at, is divided into 3. There's lot 1, lot 2, and lot 3. Lot 1, it doesn't show the road frontage. Lot 2 and 3 have 33 feet frontage by the looks of it. And now here it has a title, it says after. So I'm assuming this is after a severance is done. Now it shows that there's approximately 9 acres. Each lot will equal 3 acres. Lot 1 with 250 feet frontage. Lot 2 with 400 feet, Lot 3 with 300 feet. So that's what they're going to be dividing this up to. So I don't know if this is a severance that's in process or if it's a severance that is already done, but it doesn't show the plan. Now, if you're going to look at this property and seriously consider buying it, you need to see the survey so you know exactly what you're buying and these lot lines and how they line up. This is most likely what they sent in to the planning board to get the approval for their severance. Now this is a road here, this dotted line on these base maps, these indicate a road. And now this is a road allowance. They have it noted here, it says 66-foot road allowance. From this road along here, this is a road allowance. Now we're going to look at the description to see what it tells us. You need to know whether or not that road allowance is open, or if it's an ATV trail, or a footpath, or a driveway, or whatever. Okay, so that's something to be mindful of. Now, okay, then click on this X up here to close the pictures. And now we can just scroll down and take a look at the other information. Now it says Wolf River Bay, Port Loring, Ontario. Not very much of a description as far as location. Now also they have the MLS number. So if you're working with a real estate agent, you give them this MLS number and they'll be able to look up all the information on the property and be able to contact the listing agent to ask any questions that you may have. Now they're asking $78,900. It's vacant land. It's 3 acres. It's freehold title, which means when you get your deed, you own the whole thing. You own whatever you're buying. And the details, the description. Wilderness lots in the center of cottage country located on the Wolf River. These lots are a canoeist's dream location. Well treed with over 3 acres and 250 feet plus frontages with road access. Great building sites facing south with hydro available. Photographer's dream. All the birds and animals come here to play. Land-none. Location description, Highway 522 to Port Loring to East Road, just over the single lane bridge, to the top of the hill, turn left. So I assume that road allowance that we were talking about up here, that this road allowance here, if you go up to the top of the hill, turn left. I'm assuming there's something in there, but you should not ever assume. You want to find out before you drive out there. You want to know that you can get to the properties to take a look at them. Now, it does say phone listing agent, so I don't know if this is a case of where the listing agent wants an agent to go with you to go to the property, or whether they're just saying call them to get any information. Now, what other details? It's recreational property. It's on Wolf River. You got a river view, and it's an unincorporated area. There's no sewage system. There's no water as far as a well, and the frontage is 350 feet. So what I would take from this is that they're showing 3 pieces of property, but they're not defining whether this listing is for lot 1, 2, or 3. Quite possibly all 3 are for sale, and they just put one listing up, and whoever gets there first gets their choice of which lot. But that's something that would have to be asked when looking at it. It'd be nice if you had a choice of which one you liked, so you could take a look at all 3 of them. Anyhow, I would definitely look into this road allowance. It's very important to know how that's situated. Road allowances, they cannot be opened just willy-nilly by wanting to do it yourself. There's a lot of work, a lot of paperwork. Possibly it's all done as part of the severance. It's hard to say, but anyways, you want to look into that because you do want to know that you have unencumbered access to those lots if you're going to buy one. Looks like it's in a nice area. Could be something worthwhile looking at. Okay, let's see what we have next. What's in this one? This is a little bit away from the highway. 1 to 5 acres. Caden Lake. It says there's 2 listings. Click on this one. Now what do we have? All we have is a survey showing here. There's no pictures of the land. I like pictures. Okay, well this is a survey. It's hard to read. It looks like part 1, 2, and 3. This is something where, again, you can speak to the real estate agent and ask for more information or a better plan when you're talking to them. Now, the description is it's $59,000. There's the MLS number if you want more information. The land size is 603 by 645. Nice size lot. Square, gives you some privacy. Now it says water access only. Property on Caden Lake. Deeded road access to deeded boat launch area and parking. Well-treated property. Survey available. HST is in addition to. Call for all the details and advantages in owning an unincorporated township. Great fishing, hunting, and snowmobile area. Now again, it says land-NA. Okay, features. It's recreational, lake view, waterfront on the lake. It's on Caden Lake. Zoning description is recreation. Now it does say it's in an unincorporated township. There is no zoning in unincorporated townships, so I guess I just put that to say it's a recreation property. Frontage is 603. The depth is 645. Kind of a nice size of property for just putting a hunt camp or a cottage on. Now this says water access. Now, important thing here, there's a couple of important things in this description. Number one, it gives you deeded road access to a deeded boat launch area and parking. So you'll know that to get to that property, you have road access as deeded to you. You have the right to use the road that goes to the boat launch, and you have deeded boat launch area and parking. That means that you don't have to worry about parking your car along the side of a road at a public launch or whatever. You have a deeded access. Now that is worth something, in my opinion. That is something to have, because you never have to worry. One question you may want to ask a realtor if you're seriously looking at a property like this is that if other people have deeded access to this boat launch and this road, where does the maintenance come into play? Are you responsible for chipping in each year to help with the maintenance of the road and the boat launch area and the parking area? That's something to ask. It may not be a big deal, but it's always a good idea to know ahead of time. Now, another important thing that they say here is HST in addition to. Now, what that means is that over and above the price that you offer, you have to pay HST. Like right now it says $59,000. Now let's say you offer $50,000 and they take it, just for easy numbers. HST is in addition. You will be paying $6,500 plus the price that you offer. So your $50,000 turns into $56,500. So whenever you see a listing where they mention HST in addition to, that means that you have to pay HST over and above the offer price. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're determining the price that you want to pay for the property. There is also a term that is HST included. HST included means that if you were to offer $50,000, the HST is included in that $50,000. The seller will take care of the HST cost. Okay, now so let's look at another area. This is Cochrane. Here's one here, 69.9. Click on the picture. But look, you get a good idea of what it looks like. Look at the pictures. Oh, there's a barn. Oh, maybe it's a farm. There you go. There's the silos. Oh, damage. There's damage to the house. Look at that. It looks like the ceiling caved in. Nice that they were willing to put that picture in, eh? Looks like there's work that needs to be done to this house. Let's see what the description says. Definitely some concern here. Oh, it's got a wood stove, looks like in the basement. Water heater. Okay, let's see the description. Look at the pictures. 1247 concession 6 and 7 Cochrane, Ontario. It's 69.9. It's 5.52 acres. They give the land dimensions 590 by 406, which is pretty nice. It gives you the privacy. Single family, age is unknown. It's got a detached garage and gravel. Description: this property is sold as is, where is, with limited information. That typically means it's a bank sale. It's like a mortgage foreclosure, or something happened and the people who owned it, they lost it, and now it's in the hands of the creditors. There's a few things to be concerned with this. When a property is listed where is as is, it is where is as is. They are not taking any responsibility for the structure location. Is it on the property? Is it next to the property lines? Does it encroach on the neighbors? You don't know any of that information. It doesn't give any guarantee of any legal status of it. You don't know if there's any liens on the property. So a property like this, this is where you could get a really good deal. If you do your homework and you know what work has to be done after you buy it, then it could be one really good deal. So basically, this is one of those ones where you definitely want to have a home inspector or have your contractor go through to see what needs to be done, because we've already seen where there's some care that needs to be done, like right here. There's something going on there that, a whole piece of drywall fell down. It says it has a garage, but it shows a close-up of these buildings, so I would wonder if these buildings go in with it too. Unfortunately, it doesn't give any information. It says hydros available and telephones available. Doesn't say if they're hooked up. Now, building description. It's a bungalow. It's got 1 bathroom, 1 bedroom. It's got a full basement. Well, it says 2 bedrooms below grade. Fireplace type is a wood stove. Heating type is baseboard heaters. It's got a storage shed. Utility communications. It has internet access. Detached building, and it's got a drilled well. Doesn't say if it has a septic. What if it has a septic? Anyways, recreation room, bedroom, basement. It's got a recreation room. It's got 2 bedrooms. Upstairs, it's got a foyer, bathroom, kitchen, master bedroom, living room, office, and laundry room. There you go. Now, it doesn't say anything about a septic. It could have a composting toilet, possibly. That's something you'd have to take a look at and decide whether it's worth your interest to go any further. But as is where is as is where is. This is like a caution, the red flags, but you can deal with the red flags. This is something where, as long as you do your homework, you could get a really good deal buying a property like this, but you'd have to do your homework and have to be willing to have the repairs done that need to be done. So anyway, let's go back and see what else we can find. Here's an interesting one. It's over 100 acres, 128 acres. Frederick House River frontage, 128 acres, located in the unorganized township of Fournier. The property offers you a gravel pit, large storage garage measuring 32 by 78. This property comes with timber and mineral rights. Very important, it's got mineral rights. And it offers you a natural severance for the Frederick House River running through the property and having 2 separate road accesses. This property offers year-round access with endless opportunities with low taxes and no need for building permits or approval from the municipality of Cochrane, Ontario. Build your dream home, cottage, or expand the existing campgrounds or business. Call today for more information. Now that's a nice piece of property. 128 acres for $169,900. Offers a natural severance, which is great. Now what a natural severance is when there's a road or a riverway or water separating the land of a lot, you can actually sell those individually without having to get a severance. So it looks like it's probably this area here and this area here, I'm guessing. Now, if that's the case, you can actually split off this piece and sell it separate from this one. Now, it looks like there's a lot going on with this property. Like there's a bit of a driveway in there. There's trails. It looks like the road comes up here. Interesting property. Be something to worth look into. Like I say, you could buy this property, sell part of it, and then keep the rest. That's like cash in your pocket, right? You may even, this is something too, you could just have it in your back pocket for future years when you need some cash flow. Okay, now if you're looking at properties like this and you just want to confirm some things like like here to do with that road allowance, what we could do is take a look at the Google Imagery. On Realtor.ca, they use Google satellite imagery for their satellites. Look at this line here. You can see where there's old satellite imagery to the south of this line and great satellite imagery above. The property that we're looking at, it's kind of on the border. But anyways, here's the dot for the real estate listing. So you can confirm that. There it is on the satellite imagery. It's somewhere in here. Now, these dots are not an exact science. It's just to give you a rough idea of where the property is. So it's not like it's this piece right here. It could be anywhere in here that we're looking. Now you can blow it up, scroll with your mouse, or click the plus and minus buttons. So there is a road. There you go. Here's the main road here, East Road. And here's that road, that's the road allowance that goes in. So it is opened. It goes down to this property. Where this is in relationship to the properties that are listed for sale, I don't know. You're best to, if you're interested in taking a look, you now know that answers the question about, is the road allowance open? Well, it's open to here. Now, where that's in relation to the properties that are listed, you'll have to confirm that with a real estate agent before you go out, so you know where you're heading. Now, it may be really easy to find, and that may also be why they say call the listing realtor, so you can get the exact location of the property that is up for sale. So there you go, satellite imagery. Great tool to use. Use the satellite imagery. You can flip back and forth between the map. There you go, and the satellite. Satellite imagery. Great tool on the internet. Well, that wraps up this episode of Buying Land and Finding Your Dream Property. In future episodes, we'll be touching on other online tools that will help you identify features of a piece of land. And also checking out the neighborhood, the vicinity area of a property that you're considering purchasing. And the pros and cons of owning a piece of property in an unorganized township. And we'll also be touching on the myth that there are no rules and no permits required in an unorganized township. And the importance of land surveys and the basics of reading a plan of survey. And also we'll touch on land calculations that will help you determine the dimensions in the area of a piece of land. And rural roads. This is important for people who are looking at purchasing a property in remote areas. Some points that you should be aware of on the rural roads and road allowances. And of course, the final step, preparing the offer to purchase. Well, that's it for another episode of Cabin Life. Thank you for joining me. And if you haven't done so already, please click on the subscribe button down below and also click on the gray notification bell. That way you'll receive notifications of upcoming events in Cabin Life. And for Glenn, over and out, and take care. Brought to you by the Frog Pond. Listen to them. I think they're happy it's spring.